people feel like this woman sometimes, some days where they're feeling super, super stressed out and they're trying to manage a million different things. Well, I have to say, stress does play a huge, huge role with a lot of my patients. I'd probably say the majority of my patients that are coming in, probably 90 to 95% of them, are coming in for issues that are stress related. The American Psychological Association, they do surveys every year, and these are some of the most common stressors that they're finding that people are really have concerns about. So things like their job, finances, media overload, their health, poor nutrition, relationships, and definitely lack of sleep, because stress and sleep are one and the same. You're stressed out, those stress hormones are definitely going to affect your melatonin. And your melatonin levels, melatonin is your sleep hormone, right? So stress, how does it affect our health? Well, it affects a lot of different parts of our health. We know it also affects, or it causes employers a lot of money. So this was taken from last year, about $300 billion annually. It costs employers for stress-related issues. Now, do you know how the body takes care of stress? And how many people have heard of the adrenal glands? So a few people. So where are adrenal glands located? Where are they located? On top of the kidneys. That's right. So your adrenal glands are located on top of your kidneys. They are considered your stress glands. They also control, and they're very important when it comes to talking about healthy hormone balance. Now, they release these stress hormones to help your body cope with stress, but they also release hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. They actually are the backup to hormone production when we start going through perimenopause and menopause. We're going to talk about that more in detail when I go through menopause and what we can do to prepare for menopause. Now, the stages of stress, quite simple: alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. So there was a doctor that studied this quite extensively, and he outlined this as sort of the stress adaptation, so what the body did to adapt to stress. The first stage is the alarm stage, so that's your fight or flight reaction. So you're releasing hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline. And then what happens is there's actually a recovery phase where your body actually prepares itself for the next stressor. The problem is with chronic stress, whether it's over weeks or months, you actually start moving into the stage of resistance. And this isn't just happening with women, but it can actually happen with men too, and children. I see a lot of children nowadays with adrenal issues. The problem is when you're in this resistance stage, there's no recovery phase. So those adrenal glands are constantly firing, and they're starting to release stress hormones, mainly a hormone called cortisol. We're now seeing the relationship between high cortisol levels and things like blood sugar dysregulation, slow metabolism, and then a lot of women are now getting sort of this tummy, belly fat right in the middle. Well, that's often related to this high cortisol, this high stress hormone in the body. We want normal levels of cortisol. We can't live without cortisol. It's essential to life. But when we're chronically stressed out and we're pumping out huge amounts of cortisol, that's when a lot of our other hormones get disturbed. If people manage to push their way through resistance and move into exhaustion, that's what is coined as adrenal exhaustion and adrenal fatigue. And that's when those adrenal glands are no longer functioning very well. They've been completely taxed out, the reserves have been depleted, and a lot of times women and men that are in that adrenal exhaustion phase, they're going to find that, they're completely exhausted throughout the day. They're either able to fall asleep, but they're waking up multiple times during the night, or they're not able to fall asleep at all. They have difficulty losing weight. They have cravings. They're craving sugar and salt, caffeine. So a lot of those symptoms I've located here. Another big one is a low immune system. So people that are really low adrenals will also find that they're going to catch every single cold or flu that's going around the office or that their kids are bringing home from school. I think that this quote is very true, and it just says that pretty much everyone is stressed out. Everyone has varying degrees of adrenal issues, but 80% of North Americans are suffering from adrenal exhaustion and the other 20% are in denial. So I think it's very important that everyone has support for their adrenals and is conscious of the kinds of stress that are in their lives. Because let's face it, we do probably have stress on a regular basis, and stress doesn't have to be bad. Stress can be good too. But we just have to be conscious that it does put a lot more stress on those little adrenal glands. So what are some things, when you think about stress, what are some things that really help to nourish those adrenal glands? They're very common. What can you think of? Meditation, yes. What about supplements? What are some really important supplements? B vitamins, vitamin C, magnesium. So magnesium is kind of at the top of my list. It's a very, very important mineral for helping with adrenal recovery, especially if you're in that adrenal exhausted phase. I'm just going to elaborate a little bit more on magnesium. We have an excellent product called MagSense, which is a magnesium bisglycinate formula. What that means is, being a magnesium bisglycinate, often high doses of magnesium, like magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide, can cause a lot of bowel discomfort or things like loose stools. The nice thing with the magnesium bisglycinate is it's a very, very highly bioavailable form of magnesium, so it won't cause that at high doses. The nice thing also about this is that you can throw it in a smoothie, you can throw it in water as well, and it has things like B vitamins in there, taurine, glutamine, which is really good for muscle recovery. But we know that magnesium is absolutely essential for the nervous system, for sleep, for PMS, for blood pressure. And so I find a lot of times in practice, many, many people are magnesium deficient. So this is an important one when we talk about stress. Some other things are vitamin C, again, is a very important antioxidant. We know vitamin C is important for the immune system, but vitamin C is also, I call it an adrenal antioxidant. It's very, very important for, again, getting those adrenal glands boosted up. B vitamins are essential, so B5, B6, B12, probiotics. Another great one is GABA. So for those who have never heard of GABA, GABA is actually a supplement that's great for calming the nervous system down. So for those people that can't seem to sleep because their mind is constantly going, or if they suffer from anxiety or panic attacks, GABA is great because it controls brain excitability. It actually helps to calm the brain down. You can take it during the day or in the evening. It doesn't have a sedative effect. It just kind of helps to calm the nervous system down. I mentioned probiotics, and then there's a group of herbs called adaptogens. And what adaptogens are is they help. We talked about helping the body and the adrenals adapt to stress because we probably have stress on a regular basis. But these adaptogens, I'll just quickly go over. The adaptogens are found in a product called Adrenosense. And things like rhodiola and Siberian ginseng, ashwagandha, these are very, very powerful and nutrient-rich herbs that help those adrenal glands and help normalize those cortisol levels. So the cortisol levels aren't too high and they're not too low. And they have a very, very gentle effect on the body. So this can be used for people that are into that stage 2, or even if people are in that severe, like, adrenal exhausted phase. The dose is 1 capsule 3 times a day, but you can also take more if you feel like you need it. You can dose it up to 6 capsules a day if needed. Now, the other thing that happens when we talk about stress and we talk about trying to recover those adrenal glands is I often have a lot of conversations with my patients about coffee. I'm sure a lot of you are coffee drinkers, and I'm not anti-coffee by any means. But the problem is if you have really, really depleted adrenals and you're trying to get those adrenals to naturally recover on their own, let's say you're drinking, 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day to try to push yourself through the day, I just encourage you to just take a break from coffee, maybe switch to green tea or maybe switch to half coffee and half decaf, because you really want to, especially if you're taking all these herbs and B vitamins and magnesium and you're really trying to get those adrenals to work on their own, the coffee will actually put more stress on those adrenal glands. So it's just a thought. I do get fought on this often with my patients, but eventually they will switch to green tea because they start noticing how good they're feeling. So it's just one thing to keep in mind. And then one woman said also meditation here. Now, supplementation is absolutely important for helping to restore those adrenals, help with the stress response, but you kind of have to do your part too. So even if it's 10 or 15 minutes during the day, where you go for a walk, or you do some deep breathing, or you book a massage once a month, or you go for acupuncture, whatever you enjoy doing, it's really important to really nourish those adrenals and the nervous system and have sort of those